start that before I forget.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Morgan.
Hi there.
Hey, Juan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hey, party people, how's it going?
Hey, Carl.
Happy Wednesday.
Hello
Living the
there.
dream.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, how are you, Carissa?
Good, thanks. How about you?
So far, so good. How's everybody else doing?
Good,
Really
good.
good, thank you.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Carl. Hi, Danny.
Hey, how's it going, Jasmine?
So far, so good.
I think we need to round the troops and all go out to Vegas.
I think that that is a very good suggestion. I love you. What is it? Hello, ask me about our hero promotion. Okay.
Pick me up on the way, Greg. Pick me up on the way.
Okay. All right. I see what you're doing there.
I'm putting 100 on black.
So the funny thing is we were out in Vegas for my bachelor party, and my buddy, he takes out $100 bill. He goes, you call the color on the roulette wheel. We called black, and then black hit, so we doubled it up. And he's like, "You want to let it ride?" I'm like, "Let it ride," and it hit black again, and then we walked.
How much did you end up getting? Carl, didn't you used to do craps?
I used to deal all the games, but you guys want to hear a good roulette story for a minute? I was dealing to Danny Jacobson. He's a writer in Hollywood, but a big high roller on roulette. And his favorite number was 17. And I was dealing a roulette wheel that I dealt all the time. And it was the old Huxley's, and you could get into a groove on how you kick the wheel and then spin the ball. I hit 17 6 times in a row.
Wow.
And every time I hit them, the payoff was like $1.3 million. So that was my biggest run ever on the same number in a row.
Holy smokes.
So were you I don't know, they don't call it a dealer. Were you manning the wheel?
That was the dealer, a little weed, a little low. No, just kidding. Dealer.
Oh, craps. Never mind.
That was roulette dealer.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, I dealt craps, baccarat, years ago.
Nice. Well, I'm sure we could sit here and talk about Vegas stories all day, but I'll give it over to Carissa.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining. So John Martin unfortunately had a conflict come up, so it's just going to be Danny today, and then Greg has also offered to jump in as well with some strategies and feedback. So we're really excited for this workshop. So we'll just kick it off by asking you, Danny, how did you start leveraging Homebot, and why do you make it a part of your business?
So, a lot of times agents don't know what to do. They have a database, but they don't drip them or don't have the proper CRM to stay in front of their clients, right? So a fellow LO introduced Homebot to me, I think 4 or 5 years ago, right? So he added me as a user, and I caught myself always looking at the digest every single month because it's super interactive. I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool, right? And I looked into it and I decided to give it a shot and started introducing it to agents, right? Especially right now, agents are lost. They don't know what to do. They're fearful, right? So it gives me a good opportunity to reach out to them and offer them something of value, right? Because they don't have the proper systems to drip them. So I go through the tutorial and kind of show them what the system does, and they love it. So I was just tallying up the number of contacts that are in Homebot alone for myself, and I have a total of 3,853 people that agents have imported into there, and I'm working with 34 agents on Homebot. You're going to have your handful of agents that use it, and you have your handfuls that don't, but it's a good way to stay in the forefront and give them something of value that they could take and run with it, because it's super effective.
That's really awesome. I really like how you've incorporated agents with it, because I don't think everyone's doing that. And I'm not sure everyone even knows that that's a possibility with
Right.
Homebot. I feel like we're all hearing about the client benefits, but you don't
Right.
always hear about how agents can really use it.
And right now, not only can you put homeowners in there, right, with closed transactions, but I'm getting the agents to put their buyers in there, right? So I'm asking them to input their buyer leads into Homebot, because it keeps the consumer away from Zillow, from realtor.com, because you have, I believe, YLocal integrated into Homebot, which allows the user to stay within the interface, which within the system, that keeps them away from all these other online sources where, you know, they go to Zillow, they're going to call 5, 10 different agents and a couple different lenders, but at least this way they stay within the system, and we could track the progress. We could take a look at the homes that they're looking at and get the alerts and, you know, get the agents in front of them right away.
That's really awesome to hear. I think we already have a question for you too from Kristen Livingston. So she's asking you, what has been your most successful way to get agents signed up? She mentions it and gets out the info, but then it seems like they get overwhelmed and they don't prioritize.
So I share one of my success stories with the agents I'm working with. I have one agent that's picked up about 4 or 5 listings from Homebot, right? So if we monetize the value, if I tell them, hey guys, if I could get you possibly 1 to 3 listings a year just off Homebot, are you interested in sitting down with me 5-10 minutes to show you how the system works, right? And I reference the agents that's had the success, and we sit down and discuss it, right? And I show them the value. You got to sit down with them for a few minutes, help them through the tutorials so they could get a better understanding of the system, even sign them up within the system so they could start getting the digest every single month. I mean, that's how it attracted my attention. So they love it. I've had quite a few agents just call me, say, hey, add my personal property to it. And I'm like, hey, take a look at it. I'll let them play with it for like a month or 2, and then I'll call them for the appointment.
That's awesome. And I have done that before if they have a personal home, but I've run into scenarios where they're renting right now. And so then I'm like, what do I do as an example? Do I like forward mine, or what do you do in that case?
Put them in as a buyer, and they
Okay.
can start exploring markets and the trends, the values, the current rates. So that's the beauty of Homebot. It gives you a lot of key data points, and it's pretty current. It gives you an average rate, what everyone's pricing their loans out at, or where the market's at. So it gives you some good data points. But I'll use an example. I'll use my personal home and show them, hey, look, this is what I get every single month. Take a look at it. You could do so many things with it. You could play with the equity. You could do a refi cash out calculator. You can look at values in other markets, right? Downsides, upside scenarios, right? And I just use that to kind of leverage my relationship and get them excited about it, right? And it's just another tool in their tool chest so they could go out there and get more business. I mean, right now is the best time to reach out to them because they're fearful, right? You're going to have a lot of agents that have no business, but what better way to get in front of them or to get in front of their database right now is just set them up on Homebot, right?
Danny, that's such a cool strategy. I love that. I actually did that with one of our test accounts on Homebot just so I could send it to myself as a buyer and see how it works and go through the consumer experiences. I love that strategy to do it with agents or anybody else that you're trying to partner with. That's brilliant. So I think that's a big takeaway. I also want to say, I want to give you more credit than you gave yourself because you have 36 agents on Homebot, not 34. So you are our top loan officer on Homebot for connections. And
Yeah.
I know all of those probably aren't paid, but maybe you could go into the free version and the paid version. How do you sign these people up with free and then convert them to paid? And what does that look like?
So, some of the agents are obviously struggling right now, right? Or they're newer agents that don't have a big database, right? So I introduced a freemium account to them, which is 25 contacts, absolutely free to them. So I let them know, give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback, but start playing with the system and let me know how it works for you, right? And they love it. Before you know it, they end up signing up. One of my top agents, I believe, has 1,700 contacts in there, right? And he fell in love with it, and he started very slow. He played with it for 3 months, and I'm like, hey, John, let's dive into this. It's $25 a month or $50 a month, depending on how big your database is, but give it a shot, right? So what I started doing with him with his free trial, his clients started I started getting the alerts. So what I would do is take a snapshot, text it to John, hey, John, reach out to Mike Garcia, right? Give them a call, and they love the fact that I reached out to them, notified them that I got an alert, and it keeps them in the front. I think he got a deal out of it as well. So the minute they have success, they fall in love with the system and they continue to do it. I mean, it's super cost effective, and we're not bombarding the client with a big drip. It's just once a month. And I was just looking at it this morning before I got on the call. I think my open rate for this month last month was 77%. So 77% of the digests that went out were open. So I think that's a pretty good number.
And something that you do, Danny, I know you've done a lot of lead gen independently, obviously outside of Homebot. One thing I think we've helped you and some other loan officers do that's in a similar situation, you could pull all of your past leads that have been decent leads but haven't moved forward. And we could bulk upload all of those onto Homebot for the buyer side. So you're still dripping them and you can still try to convert some of those old leads you've already paid for.
Absolutely. So then that's what I tell all my agents. I'm like, guys, try this system out. Import all your leads into this, whether they're a buyer, renter, or homeowner. Just stay in front of them. Right now, it's critical. We got to plant those seeds because we're going to see the business return 3-6 months down the road, right? So no better way than to stay in front of them with some good, useful information.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've got another question, lots of questions.
Go ahead,
Danny, when you have a buyer for you, do you say like, I'm going to add you to this
Yeah,
Homebot, or what do you say to the buyers?
I'll just have a quick conversation. I'm like, guys, would you guys like more information about certain markets? You could explore other markets. You mind if I add you to the system? And the agents do it as well. And we'll add them, they'll opt in, and they'll call me with random questions here and there. I'll see their, so for example, right now I have 212 buyers that were sent details, 63% open rate and 9 viewers for the last couple of weeks. So you see the activity, but it gives me a talking point to call the agent during the week or every other week, right? I'm not just making a cold call. I'm calling them with information regarding their possible buyers.
That's awesome.
And then there's no setup fee for the agents, right? I was looking online, but I think since they're hooked up to us, there's no.
Yeah, they could, I think
it?
we're waiving it, yeah.
They have to put in the promo. If they put in the promo code, then it's waived, I believe. Yeah.
Do we
Yeah,
have like we need like a fees kind of sheet for us to reference when we're talking to the agents?
It's
Do we
on
have
our,
that?
it's on our flyer. We have a flyer in Total Expert on Homebot. Maybe the marketing team could drop a copy in the chat or somewhere. But I know
Okay.
before we move forward, the beautiful thing about Homebot too, Danny, is you could connect as the loan officer, you could connect with as many agents as you want. And somebody actually made it the cornerstone of their business to get to $1 million in commissions on the loan side. And I thought that was an interesting strategy. Supposedly there's a rumor that he hit that with only focusing on growing his Homebot numbers and whatnot. But what the cool thing is, an agent can only connect with one loan officer. So
Right.
they can't connect with multiple loan officers. So it's our opportunity to be the first person they connect with. So we solidify that agent being our partner, because a lot of agents are starting to go out there and adopt Homebot. So the quicker we get ahead of it with our partners and anybody in our marketplace, the better.
Yeah, not too many lenders are offering Homebot, at least not in my market, because there's a cost involved. I mean, we spend that in coffee per month. If we could sacrifice and spend a little money on Homebot, it's going to pay tenfold. It's just going to take a little time, but it's an amazing tool. I love it. We've been implementing it here at the branch level for, I think, 2 years, a year and a half. I've been doing it personally for the last 4 years. And so far, it just gives me a good opportunity to stay in front of the agents and give them something of value.
And let me ask a
jump in
quick
and ask some
question. I
more-
didn't have an answer for this. A realtor I was trying to get signed up on my Homebot said, what's the difference for them to go direct to Homebot themselves as a realtor or to use the lender sponsored Homebot? And I didn't really have a good answer.
I believe it's the cost. I think it's going to cost the agent what it costs us as an individual. So it's $200, $300 a month versus $25 to $50 a month. Right. And when I get that objection from agents, I'm like, hey, don't you want a second set of eyes or another person contacting your lead, somebody reliable that's willing to put in the work with you as well? I said, we're committed to this together. So there's no better way than for both of us to convert these leads together. And you know, it's true. So they like that.
And that's the hard cost for them if they were a realtor going by themselves to get the premium?
I don't know the
100?
actual cost. Maybe Greg could touch on that, but I know it's just as much as ours. So
Let me look. I do know for sure the benefits being the fee waived. I'll look that up though. And also if anybody wants to stay on after, I'll share my screen and take you through what it looks like from the buyer standpoint. I have an example presentation. I could show you the Wailopa home search, but I know Carissa has some awesome questions to continue with, so I'll give it over to her.
Danny, I actually am curious. You mentioned that you can see the open rate when your borrowers, your realtors are getting these emails. So I'm curious about how you initiate or spark that conversation. So can you kind of walk us through for the loan officers, how you start that conversation once you're notified that they're opening that?
So typically it's either going to be a Monday update for me. I call on my agents on Monday. But depending on the day of the week, I usually do it on the fly. So if I get an alert or I'm in Homebot and I see that people are active, I'll just pick up the phone and say, hey, John, I noticed that Terry Smith has opened it, her Homebot, her digest. She's looked at a couple properties. You might want to reach out and just touch bases with her and see how she's doing, right? And they're super thankful, or shoot them a text. Now, if it's a seller, so I'll get the alerts when somebody requests the CMA. On those, I'll call them wherever I'm at. I'm like, hey guys, get a CMA out, schedule an appointment, see if you can lock in that listing. And I just let them know the facts. And they usually jump on it. One of my agents, Chris Leeper, I think he closed about 6 listings year to date from Homebot. He uploaded about 600 contacts, so he's getting a pretty good return, but he's super active with his database, and that's the importance, just teaching them how to stay active with the database.
So I want to share here, I believe Homebot, so the price is $25 per month. There's a 50 one-time setup fee with our RWM code. I believe it's RWM50 is our code, but it's on that flyer in Total Expert. Right here, it says lender co-sponsor required. So I think Homebot actually requires a lender to be partnered with all agents if they want access to Homebot. So they can't, answer your question, Carl, they can't go sign up independently. They have to have a lender associated with them.
I did not know that.
So even more of a reason, right? That even adds more fuel to our pitch.
Hey, Greg, this is Sherry Olson. I was just at a realtor meeting yesterday and they did pitch Homebot to the realtors. So are you saying they cannot get Homebot at all, or they can't get Homebot at the reduced rate, et cetera? Because I just saw them pitch it from a realtor perspective. This is a tool you should go sign up and get.
Good question. Right from what I just read, you can't be on without a realtor, but without a lender. So I know some MLSs might allow them to sign up for like a 25 contact account. Alana says perhaps actually they do allow.
And you can
Homebot.
get back to us, on
Yeah,
that as
let me
well.
talk to our rep and get to the bottom of it, because it looks like we have some.
There's
mixed-
an FAQ really quick on their website. It answers that, do I need a lender? So I just put that in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
If I could ask one more question, and actually this one's probably to Danny.
Yes, ma'am.
Danny, when you say you get those alerts and you jump on it as quickly as possible, is the realtor getting that same alert?
Absolutely should, but a lot of times they have things going on, or they're just not that attentive, or they have a showing, or, they're always busy is the excuse I get from them. So what I'll literally take a snapshot of that alert and text it to them. Hey guys, jump on this as soon as you can. But yeah,
Excellent.
they
You're really
should be
showing,
able to-
you're really showing that you're living the partner relationship.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
no problem.
Skik, so on that, how do you identify what agents are attached to which?
It usually tells you.
It does,
It
okay.
gives you a notification of who the partner is, who the realtor partner is.
Danny, have you received any feedback from your realtor partners on Homebot? Like, have they shared any feedback with you on their experience or on any clients that you guys share?
So they like it. The ones that use it to the full potential love it because they engage their client. They're getting feedback from their clients as well. A lot of my clients tell me that they love the system. They love the values. It gives them their equity position, the percentage of equity, their current rate, what the market rates are. I mean, it gets pretty intensive and it's super interactive. So they love it, and it's not overwhelming because I'm not bombarding them with a bunch of emails every single month. They just get one digest per month. And I was averaging about 80% to 85% open rate for my clients, and I get nothing but good feedback because they're not overwhelmed and it's very user friendly.
That's really awesome.
Are
We're
you
getting a
having
lot of
your
questions.
realtors? I've got my realtor, a couple of realtors out here that are loving Homebot, and they have their IDX search optimization through the MLS out here integrated in with their Homebot, and then I have it on my side where all of my potential buyers or even past clients can look at values and whatnot, but the realtors are using their own IDX, so they're getting notification from another source as well with their IDX search optimization. Are your realtors doing that?
Some are using it. Some are, some aren't. I know a lot of agents were using HomeSnap, but it was very generic. And they went from HomeSnap to Homebot, and they love it.
Awesome. Greg, I don't know if you saw Tony had a question that might be good for you. So Tony, like I'm sure a lot of people on here wasn't too familiar with Homebot, has kind of heard about it and now is pretty interested in exploring it, putting it to use. How would he get started, or anyone else on this call that might want to get going with it?
Tony, let me connect you to our rep. They'll actually get on one-on-ones with you and train you all up on Homebot, how to leverage it from the buyer side with your current clients. We're pumping your clients into Homebot. Every closed client every month is going into your Homebot, Tony. So I would say from your standpoint, it'd be understanding the alerts that come through and like the lead portion of Homebot, and then how to add agents, and also how to leverage that buyer side, which is critical. I know you're picking up steam and you have a ton of agents in Fresno. Your business could probably take off with Homebot based on how I know you leverage and focus on things. So let's connect on that. I'll get you connected to our trainers and our team members over at Homebot.
Thanks, Greg. All I do is I keep getting these emails over and over that says Homebot, and I just delete them.
Well,
like I don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys are talking about this stuff, and it sounds pretty amazing. And when things sound pretty amazing, you got to get right on it.
Love it. Well, we'll get you all connected and learning about all the emails you're getting, notifications, all that good stuff.
I'm curious, what are some of the objections you guys are getting from the agents out there regarding Homebot?
I'll tell you, we had one last Friday. We met and had coffee with her, and she's like, "Oh, well, it's not. I don't like the borrowers on like Zillow because then it's not as accurate. And then they come to me and say, my home value. This is not what my home is worth." So that was one pushback. I get that from homeowners sometimes, and I am always say I'm gladly able to manually change your value if you would like me to, but here's how they calculate it.
Right.
And
Well, that if agents say that, and if borrowers are saying that, then that's a great opportunity to connect them with one of your partners and say, if you'd like a professional CMA,
Exactly.
say Zillow is yesterday's prices. Everything's yesterday's prices. So if you're really if you really want to focus on what your value is, let's get you connected to an agent and get a professional CMA done so you really know what's going on in your market. By the way, are you thinking about listing your house? Why are you asking about the value? Is it for a second mortgage, or are you just curious?
Yeah, so this one there's a good FAQ on Homebot's website, and they say it doesn't account for any interior remodels. So I added that. That makes people feel good. And I know she's listing, and I know she has an agent, but I did say your best bet is to work with your agent and have them do a market analysis for you. Is going to be the most accurate. So I think she was cool after that. But yeah, that was feedback we got from the agent that said, my buyers don't think it's, a sound way to, or they like to have control over determining the value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I tell a lot of my clients, I let them know, hey, it's probably going to be about anywhere from 1% to 5% off. I said, but if you want a detailed CMA, let me know and I'll put you in contact with one of my referral partners. And they usually handle it pretty well.
I had some feedback, maybe Greg, I don't know if there's any update on this, but I had feedback from one of my realtors that was basically the version that we have as lenders that goes out. There's a pretty robust search engine. Like if you set it up for specifically a buyer, like for someone that's looking to buy,
Yep.
So you can actually go into a market area and you can actually see listings. That's not available for the agents. So the agents, they have like a really dumbed down search, and it just comes back like, oh, the average price of houses on the market in that market area is roughly this, call me. So I know we talked to the rep about that. And he said something might be coming out, next year?
Well, they have to connect their IDX system. So a lot of agents have their websites that have their live feeds that come through, and it's like their IDX live listing feed. So some of them we could rely on that, or I know Danny, maybe you could talk on this more about what your agents do with their MLS, local MLS, but
the IDX, Greg, is literally their listings. So it's if they don't have a listing in that zip code, it's just going to come back nothing.
Huh.
Don't they do it the same out here? The IDX for the MLS, look, they could search for all properties if they give access to a borrower. Like a lot of my agents are using Rocket Agent as a CRM, so it creates a landing page where someone has to give up an email address or cell number in order to use their search, but a straight link to their IDX through the MLS, they could search all the listed properties. It just depends on the setting that realtor has with their particular MLS. They can make it to only show their listings, or they can make it to where people can search their whole MLS. At least that's what they do out here.
So you're saying there is a potential tweak at the IDX level. Is that right, Danny?
Yeah, there is, but they do have to sign up for the pro plan. The freemium won't give them that option, so they have to sign up for the pro plan, and there's tutorials within Homebot that shows them how to do it, because they should be able to search all properties. And that's the whole point of why Lopo, the integration within Homebot. So we keep everyone away from other systems, Zillow, Realtor.com.
Is there, what's the difference price on the pro plan?
I believe it's $25 per month, or $25 per 500 contacts.
Isn't that what they're doing already?
Yeah. But some just have the freemium and they may not have access to the full integration. So that, yeah.
So you're saying there's
if someone uploads like say 3,000 clients, a realtor does, do they have a choice to only allow the premium for say 500 or 1,000? Because that bill could start running up if you have a big pipeline.
No, they can't pick what, because premium just has to do with number of contacts. If they have contacts though that aren't interacting with their digest, they could delete them out and then it won't count towards their number count. So let's say they're dumping all leads and some might be bad phone numbers and emails and it might be junk. They might want to prune their database in Homebot for that reason, delete those out and really sift through the quality people that are engaging with their emails, opening them, maybe going on buyer feed, etc. That would be a way to help funnel that down a bit.
Hey, Danny, you referenced there's a tutorial or something on
Yeah.
integration.
Yeah, there's some tutorials within Homebot.
Within Homebot. Okay.
Once you log in, you should be able to access it through. Let me see here.
Yeah,
The
Homebot
help
has a
center.
lot.
Yeah, you go through your homepage and then click on your picture, and there's a tutorial for the help center. Getting started, managing clients, tools and integrations, quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you guys just Google and say like Homebot tutorial on integration, like it pops right up. Or I Googled Homebot FAQ, do I need a lender? And it popped right up. So they have really good resources.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
They also have good presentations. If you want to do a presentation for some agents, you can stream them to their TV or whatever. I've done that before. So there's some good information on there.
It's a really great tip. Victoria, did we have any questions that weren't covered? I love how engaged everyone's been today. You guys had such great questions.
I think the only question we didn't get answered or we didn't cover was just we were curious about the first step that you took after you signed up for Homebot, which I think you might have covered at the beginning. But if you could just kind of maybe replay what that looked like when you first.
Yeah. I just ran with it, to be honest with you. It just gave me a reason to call all my agents and say, hey guys, I have a great tool I want to share with you. You have 5-10 minutes of your time. It's super quick. We could do it in person over coffee via Zoom, but let me show you what the system does. And, they were open to hear about it. And I mean, I feel like I don't have enough agents on there, but I have 36, and I'm hoping to get that to 50 by the end of the year and eventually to 100 next year. But it's just, a good tool. And if you believe in something, like I almost express that emotion, of how great this tool is. If you believe in it, they're going to buy into it,
Absolutely.
And I do want to point out, Danny, do you leverage the video functionality of Homebot? On my last.
Not yet. We talked earlier, but I'm going to start working on that. I'm actually going to shoot a video possibly tomorrow or next week so I can integrate it into Homebot. So Homebot can also integrate with BombBomb, which is great. And if you could generate a generic video that goes out with the digest, that's just another point of reference or a face in front of it. So I'm gonna integrate video with it here within the next 30 days.
Awesome. Yeah, that's been very powerful when we're speaking to our reps. That's something on my radar to work on training with everybody and get them on to.
And the agents could do the same thing as well. If they have BombBomb, they can integrate it on there. That way, if video goes out with the digest, they'll get a video from me and from the agents on top of the digest.
Awesome. And we all know how powerful video is with Mortgage Coach. So same thing, same concept.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for sharing, Danny and Greg, for hopping on as well. I know we're at time right now, but Greg, I know you wanted to share your screen and just kind of share what the buyer presentation and email looks like as well. So if you're able to stay on, feel free, but if you do have to hop off, feel free. We want to make sure we respect everybody's schedule. So thanks for joining.
We also have your handout, so be sure to look out for that. I'm going to put the link in the chat as well, but it's got 10 Homebot hacks for if you're using it or if you're signing up soon.
Perfect. Well, I think everybody could see my screen. So this is the email that goes out. This was the October Homebot market report as a buyer. So when you click your new market report is ready, it opens this up and you can start exploring markets. So you can add a home, find a home. Like if somebody owns a home, they could even add their own home to Homebot. Another great feature about Homebot, everybody, is people that receive the digest can actually refer it out to others. So on your video too, like Danny, if you're shooting your video, you can tell people, hey, if you love this report and this analysis, if you have any friends or family, go ahead and email this out, refer them over, and I'll get them on my Homebot as well for their personalized property. And we can make sure they are also receiving this awesome material per month. So it's a great way to also piggyback on the referral aspect of Homebot, which we probably haven't even gotten into or scratched the surface of, the power behind that.
So I just received an email literally right now from one of my agents referring me to one of his buyer's agents, asking me to set them up on Homebot. That is so funny.
That's
so yeah, I mean, have the agents refer you out. You know, if they love it, share with other agents and just build your agent database that way as well.
All right, so we're going to search in Danny's market, Riverside. So this is how Homebot works on the buyer side. They could explore markets by popular, bigger house, cheaper buys, faster move. And we could also filter by neighborhood. And there's some also market temperature questions and whatnot. But let's see, let's dive in and click on this area of Riverside. It will open it up a bit and it will show the ranking in this area. And then it shows homes near your price point, how long they're selling in right now. So we see they're dwelling on the market a little bit. And then we could click view more. It says we partner with YLOPO, go to home listings. And this pulls up the actual home search where if people are favoriting and interacting with each home on the system, you will receive notifications and updates. So let's say this is an awesome looking property in Riverside. Just like Zillow, you can pull up all the property details, look through the photos. Looks like it clicked out of it. Let me go back in. Danny, you might want to buy this house. Looks pretty nice.
Looks good.
We'll scroll down. So looks like it just got me out, but you could request more information from the finance side. You can calculate rate details. Once again, everything you would do on Zillow, you can save it as one of your favorites, and that will actually populate through and notify you as a loan officer that they're interacting. It'll actually show you different properties they're looking at and saving and interacting with too. You can request information on the property, and this would come over to you directly as the loan officer.
But Greg,
Not
when they're,
going to the
when
Zillow
they're
agent,
requesting,
the red.
when,
Sorry, what's that, Carl?
when they're requesting rate quotes, is it getting the Zillow sponsored, the lenders on Zillow that are quoting their rates out there, or is it us?
No, this is just general what they're seeing in the market. This is just a standard calculator. It's not pulling off of Zillow or anything. It's not us either. We don't program this. This is just YLOPO's standard calculator they have that people can use. And then you could scroll down. It shows all the same information, you know, nearby properties and whatnot.
Hey, Greg, this is Sherry again. Could I add one more comment or question?
Sure.
So I happen to have been at a realtor meeting yesterday with agents from a number of offices there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a good representation. And Danny, this is a shout out to you for being so proactive, because while I was at that meeting, kind of sneaking in as a lender, I was invited, but you know, kind of like quiet in the background, just taking notes. I want everybody to know I probably will do Homebot, even though I'm fairly new to RWM, because 3 lenders were there talking about them offering Homebot to this larger group of realtors that were present. So it's almost like we need to get in the game with them, because they are going at it really large. And we understand why, but I just thought I would share that because I'm not so sure I would have had this on the top of my radar had I not been at that meeting yesterday.
Got it.
Hope that helps everybody.
Yeah. So it's definitely in conversations. I know Homebot's partnering with a lot of MLSs too and pushing out freemium. So like, I know if you log into SDAR and pull that up on the realtor's homepage in San Diego on MLS, or the San Diego Association of Realtors, I should say, on the homepage, it has all the different vendors and services they offer and freemium accounts and whatnot. And Homebot's one of those. So it's driving conversation. I think it's been that way for maybe 6 months now, or maybe a year.
It's something that maybe we could add to our email signatures, like ask me about Homebot or even business cards, maybe.
A couple of my agents are also adding the QR code to a flyer or postcard that they're mailing out or dropping off. And it gives the potential client an option to opt in and sign up for Homebot. So it's something free that they're offering to their clients as well. You can create a QR code through it, and there's tutorials within Homebot how to do that.
Awesome. And I know I've heard of loan officers teeing it up too, like at closing, sending an automated email, letting them know, hey, congratulations on your closing. Just to let you know, I'm adding you on Homebot. You will receive an email from me every month with this digest. Here's what it means. And that also is a way to bridge the gap. And you can just let them know, hey, if you like what you're seeing, you can refer other people and let me know if you have any questions. So.
Refresh my memory. How much are we paying as a lender per 500? Are we getting hit per group as well?
Basically, yeah. So it's about $166 base cost per month for Homebot. On average, we get a discount. And it's $10 per agent partner you bring on. That's on the premium version. So they'll tack on $10 on top of that. And Carl, we get about 1,000 contacts on average. We could go a little bit over 500.
Yeah, but I mean, the buyers that I put in, am I getting hit for that too?
Eventually, once we reach a certain threshold, that threshold's over about 1,000 or so, and it will relate to your brand. So like if Jasmine has less, but you have more, you know, it's a pooled system, so you could dip into Jasmine's a little bit and not be charged extra. But yes, after we get to a certain contact point, we will be charged extra. I don't think you've reached that point yet for your stuff, but.
Okay.
But yeah, we can't go dump 5,000 people in there. At that point, we will be charged extra. And yeah, I think I'd have to take a look at how much it is per 500 too. I want to say $50 per 500.
All right, thanks.
Extra contacts. But yeah, get Jasmine, you have an account too. Make sure you work with Carl and get your agents on Homebot as well.
She just stepped away from her desk, so I'll tell her you said so. She'll do it. She's picked up a couple of new realtors recently too,
Yeah.
so that'll be good for them.
Yeah. Our goal is everybody on Homebot to have at least 10 agent premium connections. That's our next big initiative by end of Q1.
Well, thank you so much, Danny and Greg and everyone for all your questions. It was a really great session, and I'll send out that handout over email as well. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Amazing
Danny.
insight, Danny. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, Danny.